Hello and welcome to this tutorial for the board game Pendulum. There's a whole lot going on in this land, but instead of me telling you the story, I recommend you read the epic tale in the rulebook. That way I can go straight to explaining the game. Before I start though, I would like to mention that I'll be explaining the game for how it goes normally using these hourglasses. But the first important thing to know is that there is also a way of playing it without the time limits. And the second important thing is that if you do play it with the timers, the makers of the game keep repeating in the rulebook that you shouldn't stress or worry about making mistakes. The game is meant to be enjoyed, so play it any way you like and have a good time with it. So, let's get to it. You are going to play 4 rounds and then the game is over. You will know when that is because this deck of cards over here will have run out. And then everyone looks at their own player mat to see who turned out to be the winner. If one of the players managed to get to the end of all these 4 tracks, then that person is the winner. If no one managed to get that, then you only look at the players who at least managed to get their gray marker from this side to this side. Only they stand a chance to be the winner. Those players look at how close their marker is that is on the lowest space of one of these 3 tracks. Whoever is closest to the end is the winner. And if no one managed to get their gray token on the other side, you have all lost the game. Then there is no winner. But again, you play 4 rounds and then the game is over. You check every player's character sheet to see who did what on these tracks. If you meet the victory conditions, you are the winner. You get to move up on these tracks just by playing the game. First, what is a round? Each round is 2 steps. Step 1. Keep taking actions until time runs out. Step 2. Follow the steps from this little information board. As soon as you have done both steps, you go to the next round. If there are no more cards left here, that means you've finished all 4 rounds and it's time to see who the winner is. Let's go back and let me explain in more detail. Step 1. Keep taking actions until time runs out. The first thing I can tell you is that no player gets a turn. Everyone does what they want to do at the same time. You don't have to wait. As long as time is ticking, you keep doing your own thing. So, how much time do you have? You start each round by turning over these 3 hourglasses. Keep in mind that this is what you do when you choose to play with the game with those included. If you choose to play it slow, the relaxed version of this game, you don't have these and you can play more relaxed. But if you do use them, then it's the purple hourglass that tells you how long you can keep taking actions during a round. First, you turn it over and put it here. When it's run out of time, someone can pick it up, flip it over, and put it back up here, knocking off this second little purple token. And when the sand has gone all the way through again, someone can pick it up, flip it over, and put it all the way down here. This last little purple token comes off the board, and from that moment on, no one touches any of the hourglasses anymore. Everyone can finish what they're doing until every player is done. And then you follow the steps on this board. We'll get to that later, but that's a round. The purple hourglass goes from here to here, then back up, and finally one last time on the bottom spot. Of course, there are 2 other hourglasses, and they both have a different amount of sand in them. The purple hourglass goes for 3 minutes, the green hourglass goes for 2 minutes, and the black hourglass goes for 45 seconds. The green one and the black one also keep going back and forth between their two spaces, from here to here and back. And same for the black one, from here to here and back, over and over again. As soon as one player sees the time has run out on one of the hourglasses, they can turn it around and place it on the other spot. You never put an hourglass back where it was. It always has to go to the other side. I'm sure you can already imagine how this could be stressful and chaotic, but again, no worries. There is no rule that one player is obligated to keep an eye on the time. As soon as someone notices time has run out on one of these three, they can flip it over, even if it ran out of time a while ago. The game is more about doing your actions than constantly keeping an eye on the time. And yes, since the black one is only 45 seconds long, this one goes back and forth a lot during a round. Now, what are they for? What do they mean? During the game, you can place your own workers on the spaces on the game board. And each space is connected to an action. Here's what the hourglasses are for. You can only place your workers on a row where there is no hourglass. You can't do anything with them yet, but you can move them around as much as you like in a row where there isn't an hourglass. In a row where there is an hourglass and where time is sliding down, you cannot move any of the workers that you have placed there earlier, but you can do the action that your workers are linked to. If the hourglass is in that row, you can slide your worker down and put it here to do the action. In case you slide over a price, you first have to pay that before you're allowed to do the action. And then your worker stays right there on the action until the time is up and the hourglass moves to the other row. That's it. Place a worker where there is no hourglass, but don't do the action. And as soon as the hourglass comes to that row, you can't take your worker back yet, but you can do the action. Maybe it's free, maybe you have to pay for it. You're also allowed to simply not do the action and leave the worker where it is. And as soon as the hourglass moves away, then you can pick up the worker and maybe place it somewhere else. There are some actions that you can do that don't involve placing a worker, but I'll get to those in a moment. This is the more important part of the game, placing the workers in a row without an hourglass and doing the actions with your workers in a row where there is an hourglass. And you have to completely finish doing your one action before moving on to something next. Also, there is a rule about how many workers there can be on a space. You have this area, the black area. You can see there are shapes of workers on the spaces. That means anyone can place as many workers here as they like. There is no limit. Everyone is welcome here. But if you look at the green area and the purple area, you can see there's nothing in those spaces. That means there can be only one worker per space. Unless you have a big worker, then you are allowed to place it. You have big workers and small workers. The big ones can go wherever they want, whenever they want. So again, the black area has no limit for workers. The green and purple area can only have one worker per space, but that rule doesn't count for the big workers. Before I explain the actions, let's have a look at the price that you sometimes have to pay. On your own player mat, you have these little wooden cubes in blue, red and yellow. You can also see the icons on the spaces where you keep your cubes. If you want to do this action, you first have to wait for the hourglass to move. now it's there, so I'm not allowed to move any workers to or from this area. At some point time runs out and I can move the hourglass. I flip it over, of course. Now time is running again. And now I can place my worker here. But I can't do the action because the hourglass isn't there yet. At some point it'll run out of time, and then I can pick it up and flip it over and place it back here. And now I can do the action with this worker. But between me and the action there's this price. It shows the number 2 and this icon. I have this icon here in yellow on my player mat. So I pay 2 yellow cubes. I remove them and place them next to my own player board. And now I can slide my worker down and get the reward. Go up 2 spaces on the yellow scoring track. Some of the rewards you can get are moving up on your scoring tracks. Just look at the colors and icons. Some rewards are placing your little wooden income cubes on your own player mat. Again, you can look at the color and the icons. This icon means you can put one of your own purple squares on your own mat. You'll see what that's for later. There's also this action here in the black area. This action says you have to pay 4 red cubes, and then you can take one of these cards. You can either take one of the face-up cards or just take one from the deck. If you take a face-up card, you don't have to immediately place a new one there, but you can, or another player can also do that. Anyway, as soon as you have taken the card, you can choose which way you want to turn it. Once you've made your choice, you slide it under your own player mat so that the bottom icon is the same color as the color of the space on your mat. While you're playing, there is no limit to how many cards you can have here, but there will be later. But what do you do this for? Well, some of the spaces on the game board show this icon with a color and a question mark in it. That means you can take all the rewards that you see in a particular section of your player mat. So if you don't have a card under it, you only get this one thing. But if you have made a row of cards, then you get all those rewards. That's why you get cards, and that's what these action spaces mean. Another thing, while all of this is happening, it's possible at some point you have everything in your possession that it says on this card here. This is a goal card. As soon as you have what this card is asking for at the top, you can take your own little round token and place it anywhere on this card. If this big shiny metal token is still on this card, you can choose to take this. And then you can move your gray marker on your own scoring track from here to here. But if you don't want to do that, or if you've already done that in a previous round, then you can take the reward that it says at the bottom of this card. That's what this card is for. It's a goal. And the reward is either taking this metal token or get the reward that is written at the bottom. I also mentioned that there are a few things you can do while time is ticking that don't involve your workers. Here's what you can do while the game is going. You can play one of your own personal cards. Every player has their own cards. Pay the price and put the card on your own discard pile here and get the reward. Another thing you can do while time is still going is pay 5 cubes to get all the cards back from your discard pile. And that's already it. Officially, the other actions are also flipping over a timer, claiming an achievement, and flipping over a card from this deck if there happens to be an empty spot. While all of this is happening, while all the players at the table are doing this thing at the same time, there will come a point where the purple timer is flipped over a third time. The third little purple token is kicked off the board. Then this comes into effect. Just follow the instructions. The first thing that happens is that none of the hourglasses are allowed to be moved. From that moment on, they stay where they are. So any workers that are there are locked up, but you can do the actions. And you can keep doing your special card actions as well. Or claim an achievement. Now you can take all the time you need. As soon as every player at the table has said that they are completely done, this part of the round is over. You can flip over this board to follow the instructions for step 2 of each round. 1. You look at who has the most of these purple squares on their mat. That person gets to go to the top of this track here in the middle. Just move the marker of your player color. The person who has the second most goes in second place, and so on. You immediately get the reward that is written right next to it. And during the next round, if 2 players want to place their worker on the same spot where you can only have 1 worker, then whoever is higher up here gets to place it. You do have to discard all of your purple squares though. 2. If anyone has more than 2 cards per slot under their own player mat, you have to discard back down to a minimum of 2 cards. You can have a long row of cards while you're playing, but at this point you have to discard back down to 2. It's up to you which cards you discard. 3. Going by this player order, every player gets to take a card from here. This is also part of taking the rewards. Everyone can always take this reward. It's printed on the board. Only 1 player can take this reward and just flips over the card to show it's been taken for this round. Upgrade one of your small workers to a big one. But every player can have a maximum of 4 workers. And the other cards you can just take. If it's not clear what they mean, the rulebook will help you. 4. If any players want to move any workers around in rows where there are no hourglasses, they can do that now. 5. Get everything ready for the next round. These cards go away. You flip the yellow one back up and refill the empty spaces. These square cards also go away and you get 4 new ones. Take back your tokens from this card and put out a new gold card. The metal token goes back on the card. The purple tokens go back on these 3 bottom spaces. And only the purple hourglass goes back up here. Everyone ready? Flip over all the 3 hourglasses and go again. Which means we've covered all you need to know to understand the game, and I hope you feel like you have a good grasp on how it goes. Don't forget, no stressing. Enjoy the game for what it is and don't be hard on yourself. Thank you for watching, feel free to leave a comment, and see you for the next one.